Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pierce Dispatch. I am joined today by Jess Utech, our HR manager at Pierce, and she dabbles in the Youth Apprentice Program. Jess, thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
thanks for having me.
So, can you tell me about the Youth Apprentice Program at Pierce?
Yeah, so our Youth Apprentice Program here at Pierce is really for high school students to come and have a work experience here at Pierce. So that could look a lot of different ways, depending on kind of what they're interested in and want to pursue from a career perspective long term. So we have different pathways, and actually, the state of Wisconsin is pretty unique in kind of their setup, right? So not every state has this opportunity for kids. So there's 80 different pathways now that kiddos can take, which is crazy to think of, not only in manufacturing, but if they want to get into like veterinary science, there's pathways in that, cosmetology now, which is super crazy.
So, by pathways, you mean a high school student and they want to get a jump start on their career?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're not sure what they want to do. They want to kind of dwindle those options down a little bit. This is an opportunity for them to take kind of a dip in the toe in the water experience and really try that career on for size.
So, what are those pathways that Pierce offers?
So we have a lot of different options now. It started really just in our engineering and production space, which we still have those and they're very popular. But we've now added our DT space, which is like our IT team. We have a training team as well that has a YA on their group as well. Materials also. So obviously, you think of our business structure, materials need to get from point A to point B, and we have a team that supports that here.
All right, Jess, who is eligible for the Youth Apprentice Program?
Yeah, to be a youth apprentice, you have to kind of meet a variety of different things. So you need to be a junior or senior status in high school, good academic standing, right? That's first and foremost in that kind of process. You also need to be actively enrolled in the state of Wisconsin Youth Apprenticeship Program. So that would be facilitated through kind of your school counseling team. You also would need to have some time freed up in your day to come work for us. So our youth apprentices really are subbing out a class for this experience. So they're getting high school credit to be with us. So oftentimes they'll have either morning availability or afternoon availability where they can come work for peers in the morning before they go to school or after school. So depending on the student and if there's any extracurrics involved as well.
We kind of hit on the different pathways, and you talked about there's welding, there's materials, there's electrical, there's all these different programs. Is there a most popular program, or is there
Yeah.
any that are most common or growing or brand new?
I guess most popular, the most like quantity wise that we have here is our production space. I think that's the greater opportunity as well for from a Pierce lens. Popular wise, our welding pathway is for sure the most popular. Like we have kiddos come out of the woodwork to come hang out in our welding area, which kudos to that team. Like they have a little weld classroom set up, which is super awesome. So before they even engage in kind of our product scope, they get to do hands-on stuff, test it out on scrap, and really learn from what they're seeing in school to what they see here at Pierce.
It sounds like they're getting some really good experience, and not only experience, but connections
Yes.
with real professionals in the industry.
Yes,
Does that bridge into anything after graduation for them?
for sure. We try and retain as many YAs as we can. And obviously, that can look a little different depending on what they're hoping to get out of their career. So, a couple of different avenues, right, that we have. If you want to go directly into the workforce, right, we have that option. I think this year we had about 7 kiddos out of our program that came to us and joined us in a full-time capacity. We also have kind of a student part-time mashup. So that is really going to look like you go to school full-time at usually a technical college near us, and then they come and work at Pierce still part-time. So we're super flexible on kind of those hours and how that looks for the students, but then with the greater intention to engage them after they graduate. We also have internship opportunities. So Pierce has about, depending on the year, 50 or 60 opportunities in our business. Some of those are summer based, some are what we consider in year round. So that's been kind of an opportunity too for the students that want to leave, go to a 4-year college, and then come back to us during the summer when they are still wanting to gain that career experience.
Yeah, I know I was an intern and it completely shaped my path into my current position now, and I learned so much, made so many connections. Highly recommend. I know everyone around me pretty much has been an intern as well, and just to have those roots to branch you into your professional career really shapes you into a strong professional.
It does, and I feel the same way when it comes to our youth apprentice experience, right? A lot of times, I think one of the statistics that surround kind of this program for us, 41% of students feel unequipped to make career choices. So, really, Pierce's intention and strategy around the Youth Apprenticeship Program from a community based perspective is to provide some insight into local employers where they've grown up, right? That we have great opportunities here too. And come work for us. We are definitely wanting to engage awesome talent here too.
Absolutely. You always see on the sign outside the Pierce stores, we're
Yes,
hiring, we're always expanding."
always.
So we definitely wanna retain that, especially our local talent,
Right.
and they can learn from our tenured employees then too.
Yes, and I think that's a value adder to this program as well. Like we don't have like a classroom that they're going into, right? The workspace is the classroom. So they get to piece together what they're learning in their high schools to what goes on in a real life workplace, right? And they're also networking as they're doing that. So not only are they kind of proving their worth from a talent perspective and a commitment to an organization, but they're also bringing their knowledge and their talents to our team too while they're learning from our seasoned professionals.
So, Jess, can you tell me what a youth apprentice can expect from a youth apprentice program at Pierce?
Yeah, so we are committed to providing them with really an onboarding and a training experience here. So they're doing value added work. So they're not just sweeping the floors or doing side work, right? They're actually doing work that they would expect if they were hired on part or full time. So our full-time team is super awesome that they are mentoring and engaging, having conversations with these students to get them to really the baseline criteria of whatever role that they're on our team. So if they're in our production space, right, they're being trained to read a blueprint. They're being trained to put then what that blueprint says into really production, right? They're putting parts and pieces onto the truck. So nothing cooler, in my opinion, than building fire trucks, right? Same goes with like if I take a design engineering apprentice as well. They're being trained in our CAD software suite by a seasoned engineer, and then they get to do hands-on experiences modifying designs for our trucks as they move throughout production.
It's just such a unique experience. Who gets to say they work on a fire
Yeah,
truck as a youth
I
apprentice
know.
and contribute to a final product that's gonna go and serve a community
Right.
and work one-on-one with fellow youth apprentices. I'm sure as a community, they get to unite and talk and share what they're learning,
Yes.
but also with a tenured leader. So can you tell me, do you have any success stories to share from the youth apprentice program?
I do. So, success, I think, means a lot of things to a lot of different people. I think for this program, it really means that you're engaged with an organization that you're passionate about and that you're happy in a role that makes you happy, right? That you fall out of bed for each morning and are passionate about. So, I think if we keep that in mind, we have so many success stories. And I think some that come to mind, we have two current interns that started in our YA program, one in our product management area and then one in our engineering space. So they were able to kind of capture that opportunity to graduate high school and then pursue a 4-year degree, right? So they're here, one in a summer capacity. So he comes and hangs out with us in the summer and continues that learning journey. And then the other in a year round capacity. So he's here hanging out part time during the school year, and then he's going to school. And then also during the summer, he comes back in more of a full time capacity. But there are countless success stories in our welding and production space too. Both of those teams really have drawn close to this program, using it to retain some of the students that are coming to us as YAs. We're training in, and then they want to stay with us long term.
So, what does the future hold for the Pierce Youth Apprentice Program?
Yeah, so the students and teachers in the state of Wisconsin are being asked to do more and more career exploration. So this is kind of a state initiative for the school system. So really Pierce's role is to kind of continue to engage with schools and student base as those teams are being asked to dive further and further into what industry offers, right? So being able to not only engage high school level, but we also go to career fairs and career exposure events at the elementary and middle school level. So you wouldn't think that at either of those two that there would be any sort of like, what do you want to do with your future conversations? But there are, right, in kind of a more casual space where they get to do fun hands-on things. So I think that part of our kind of early talent really is the growth opportunity for us. So continue to get the Pierce brand out to our community, right? You never know how you're going to impact kiddos as you're talking to them in second grade, right?
Yeah.
But they remember, and they remember how impactful your conversation and your engagement was with them, which is cool to be able to reflect back on. So, from an ask from if you're an employee listening or other individuals listening, if you'd like to get involved with either the state of Wisconsin apprenticeship program, there's also always opportunities. If you're looking to get involved with Pierce specifically, we are actively taking employee volunteers for these events. If you're passionate about the early talent space, really cool to be able to give back to your communities, see smiling faces from students that are truly appreciative of the time you take out of your day to come hang out with them. You get to share something that you're passionate about, whether that's Pierce, whether that's your career, whether that's a mashup of both, right? And you never know where that conversation is going to take them long term. You can definitely reach out to me. I can certainly be that contact and network together. But yeah, we're always building kind of that greater network of good.
Do you have any advice for youth apprentices that are currently working with Pierce or maybe people who are aspiring to be a part of the program?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. I would say students be curious, right? Wherever that is on your journey. Be curious about what opportunities exist. Be curious about the process. Show a passion around what the organization does, what you specifically are passionate about from a career perspective. And maybe that answer is, I don't know what I want to do. And that's super honest. But try and dwindle it down to, I'm passionate about doing hands-on things, or I'm passionate about wrenching on cars or trucks, right? I want to get into painting someday, right? What does that look like specifically for you? Because then that can help an employer and your HR team, your manager, really start to guide you into some hands-on experiences that might give you some more insight into what you want to do from a long-term career perspective.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jess, for
Yeah,
joining us. You've been so great.
thanks for having me.